Ready, set, go. Let the magic begin. We'll ride the waves of joy. Let the fun seep in. It's the Soul Signal Show. Come on and join the flow. Feel the rhythm in your heart. It's time to let it glow. It's time to let it glow.
Hello, everyone. Today I want to talk about gut feelings that could save you. Have you ever had a moment where something inside you suddenly said, leave, or don't go, or something's wrong, or pay attention, and you couldn't explain why? There was no evidence, no logic, no visible danger, just an overwhelming feeling that you needed to act immediately. And later, you realize that feeling may have protected you from something. Before we go deeper into this, I'm genuinely curious. Have you ever experienced a gut instinct so strong that it changed your actions and later turned out to be right? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments because I think far more people have these moments than we openly talk about. And what fascinates me is that these experiences often stay with people for years, not because they're dramatic, although some are, but because they felt undeniable. Like something deeper inside you recognized danger, energy, or information before your conscious mind could fully process it. I'm going to share a story that this exact thing happened to me. This was many years ago. I don't know exactly when. It was either in the late 1990s or early 2000s. But my ex and I had gone dancing. We went to a club in Vancouver, BC, Canada. For anyone that's here, I think they call it the Red Room now, but back in those days, it used to be Madison's. And we were just out to go dancing. Neither of us were drinkers. I just loved to dance. And I like to people watch too. I like to watch other people dance. Anyway, off we went. And we were in the club and we were sitting on these kind of bar stools that they had like little kind of counter tables in front of them facing the dance floor. And then behind us and around the club were other tables and chairs with groups of people everywhere. And the music was playing. And anyway, there was a moment we were both just kind of sitting there at the table and watching people talking, whatever we were doing. And all of a sudden, this feeling shot up my spine. Like it was like a cold chill, like someone ran a cold finger up my back from the root of my spine up to, quite high on my back. Like I literally curled inward, like woo, like a shock. But accompanying it was this feeling of danger. That's all I can say. Like I felt panicked, like I had to get out of there. And I grabbed my partner's hand and I said, move. And I pulled him and he's like, what? And like I kind of tugged at him and I went, run, go, go, go. And he didn't know what the heck was going on, but he did listen to me and followed me. And we ran and ran and ran and we ran out of the club. And we ran out the front doors and then he slowed down, but the feeling was still there. And I said, no, keep going, run, 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 go, go, go. And we ran and it's down by Gastown in Vancouver where there was a parking lot where we'd park not far away. I didn't let him stop running till we got down into the car. And he said, what the heck is going on? But by then we knew what was happening because apparently at the table, practically right behind us, there, I guess, broke out some conflict, let's just say that, and guns were drawn. And apparently they shot off 8 rounds, whatever that means, inside the club. But it didn't stop there. And as we were passing by on the street, heading down to the car, the back doors of the club burst open and we could hear additional shots going off. So when we got in the car, and I just started the car and left, like I'm not staying anywhere near there. Once the feeling calmed down, he just looked at me like, how the heck did you know? And I said, I just had a feeling. It was just, he goes, you just had a feeling. But, things like that would happen to me several times in my life, and they sound scary, and they were in the moment, but they were guidance. They were protection. They were saving me from something. And I'm glad I honored it, even though, like, I'm sure in the moment, if I turned around, maybe everything would have looked fine. Like, I mean, there was no logical reason, for that to happen. Anyway, one of the things I think people misunderstand about intuition is that it doesn't always arrive as a soft spiritual symbol of peaceful guidance. Sometimes intuition is urgent. Sometimes it interrupts you. Sometimes it makes absolutely no logical sense in the moment, and yet every part of you feels, I need to listen to this. That's why people often describe these moments physically. A tight feeling in the stomach, sudden anxiety out of nowhere, a rush of alertness, a heavy feeling, an unexplained need to leave, call someone, change plans, or avoid a situation. And what's interesting is that many people dismiss these feelings at first because they can't logically justify them. We've been taught to trust what we can prove, not what we feel. But intuition often arrives before evidence does. I have several examples of these stories where intuition alerted me to something and literally saved me in situations. Before I get into the other story, I want to add that it's, some people let their logical mind override these things. And, in that moment, I could have said, no, like I haven't been here too long. I want to dance. I want to have fun. We spent money. I got a babysitter, like whatever it is, our mind can talk us out of. But when we feel that gut instinct, that urgency, you need to listen to it and respond immediately, even if it doesn't make sense, even if you don't like what it's saying. The opposite could be true. You could be at home, and you're all ready to go somewhere. Maybe you bought expensive tickets. And if you're a woman, maybe you got your hair done and your makeup done and you bought a new outfit. And there's just a million logical reasons why you want to go. But then you don't feel right, like while you're getting ready, or sometimes it isn't even such an urgent response, although that's what I'm kind of talking about right now. But it's just this inner knowing or gnawing at you, like even though you're getting ready and you've been waiting for this concert for so long or this event, but yet you feel like, I don't really want to go. And you don't have a good excuse to tell the people that you're going to go with. Maybe you and somebody else have tickets to go and you don't want to let them down. And there's lots of reasons not to listen to gut instinct sometimes. But if you feel it, honor it, because most of the time when you get to where you were going, if you didn't listen, you'll realize why you didn't want to be there. Okay. Or you find out later why you should have been home, or why you should have honored that information. So the second story I want to tell you is, it's a heavy one for me. It was when my middle son was just a little guy, and I worked for a joint venture with Employment and Immigration and the Vancouver School Board. It was called the Career Action for Youth Center. And I'd worked there, I think, for 3 years or more. Anyway, one of the long-time employment counselors was retiring, and another one was moving to they were moving far away. And so the staff got together and they wanted to have like a retirement party, but one of them decided to offer up their beautiful cabin on Keats Island, which is kind of off the coast. You get there by boat, by ferry. Anyway, I had arranged a babysitter for the weekend so I could actually be part of this, which was a rare occurrence for me, by the way. But anyway, my parents, who were older, said, well, we'll watch one of the boys. So I left my oldest boy with him, who was about 2. And then my middle son was with the daycare, and she said, oh, I'll watch him. And I said, are you sure? And, we made all these arrangements. Anyway, I left my son and my sons, and then, some fellows at work had recently purchased a sailboat, a small sailboat. They were so proud of it, and they wanted to sail from Jericho Beach, where it was at the I think there's a yacht club or something there. And we were heading over to Keats Island. So there was about 4 of us that went. I was the only female, and off we set off. It was actually an interesting story for another time, because we were there when the fish started to, go like thunder on top of the water, and then the whales came by and started eating them, and people were jumping in the water. It was just crazy. But we also hit a point where the water was like glass. No wind, no nothing. It was just like glass. And because there was no wind for the sail, the kicker engine they went to pull the start cord and it came out, and they didn't have tools. It was quite comical, but not so funny because we couldn't sail until we caught some wind. And so we ended up lobsterizing ourselves. We were just all burnt red. But anyway, it's a funny story for another time. Anyway, we got to Keats Island. I should be happy. Everybody's there, the ladies, the gentlemen, they're in the kitchen and making food, and there was people all over the house. I don't know how many of us were there. There was quite a few. And out in the boathouse, several of us had like laid out our sleeping bags and our knapsacks and whatever we brought, because we were camping in the boathouse, because they certainly didn't have bedrooms for everybody. A lot of people were double bunking and, doing what we could to find suitable accommodations. Anyway, towards the evening, it was already dark. I remember just this feeling like I've got to go home. And I started panicking. And I said to someone that was there, a fellow that was there, I need to go home. And he's like, what? And he says, what do you mean? You just got here. We're here for the weekend. And I said, no, I need to go home. But guys, you have to understand, this is before we had cell phones. I didn't even have a pager at the time. Can't even remember if they existed, but this was in the 1980s. And, they don't have a phone on the property either, because it's on this remote little island. And how most of the people got there is they drove out to a ferry terminal and they took, I don't know, 1 or 2 ferries to get there. It was a little bit of a process anyway, but no way to just like rush back. I was like, no, I need to get back. And, I just felt like, and they're like, why? But I had no logical reason. And so the fellow that was talking to me, who had a crush on me, was taking it personally. Like, was it something I said? Was it something I did? I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. And I'm like, I was trying to explain, it has nothing to do with you. I just feel like I need to go. And, like the host and everything was like, oh, are you comfortable? Whatever. Cause I was asking everybody, is there a way to get back? Anyway, I wasn't able to get back until the next day when the ferries opened again and were running. And, I did get back, and I'll save you the rest of the story, but I discovered that at the babysitter's, my middle son suffered a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd degree burn at her hands. It was not a pleasant thing to come home to. But if I didn't listen to that, this woman hadn't told anybody. She hadn't taken him to the hospital. She was medicating him with excessive amounts of Tylenol and stuff, because obviously he was in pain. And I'm trying not to cry. When I saw him and I went to check him, his skin was literally coming off in his pants. But I won't get there. He's fine now. And but what kind of condition would he have been in if I had stayed there for that whole weekend? And I don't know what prompted the urgency to get home. It could have been a psychic communication from my son. I'm hurt. I need you. I want my mom. Like, it could have been like that, although I didn't specifically know why, or it could have been my guides or intuition. I don't know what it was, but all I knew was I didn't want to be there anymore. I wanted to leave. And there was no logical reason. The place was beautiful. Everybody was having a good time. There was lots of good food. It was set to be a great weekend. And I know, because after the weekend, I heard from other people that it was a good weekend. But see, this is another example of intuition not making any sense. But when it nags at you and it eats at you, or the feeling's just there, honor it. Like, I'm so glad I honored it. I mean, anything could have happened. Infection could have set in. I don't know what could happen. I don't even want to think about it. All I am is I'm very thankful for that guidance and that wisdom that I was able to get to him when I did. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about why I think so many people accidentally weaken their own intuition without realizing it. But most people don't lose intuition. They lose trust in it. From a young age, many people are conditioned to override instincts, to avoid appearing irrational, to prioritize politeness over discomfort, and explain away internal warning signals, especially when there's no obvious reason for them. But sometimes your nervous system, your subconscious awareness, intuition, whatever language you want to use, is detecting something before your conscious mind catches up. And honestly, I think many people can relate to this more than they realize, because almost everyone has experienced maybe walking into a room and feeling tension immediately, sensing something was wrong before finding out, thinking of someone moments before hearing from them, or having a strong instinct that later proved meaningful. The question is, how often do we ignore these signals? Just a lighter story. Many times I've just had that knowing, like, oh, I got to check on someone. And sometimes I do right away. I've gotten better over the years, but there's been times when weeks have gone by. Maybe I think about it when I'm out and driving, or, I'll tell myself, well, it's getting too late when I have the thought, or I'm busy working and I'll call them later. And I just kind of put it off. And then but it nags at me, and it could be a person I haven't thought of for a while, but then I call and I find out something like they were in a car accident, or they've passed away, or something's happened. And I was getting that guidance to check in, Have you ever had that? Anyway, I tell a story in my book. It's just a little quick mention of one time, and this isn't a bad one, but a friend of mine had been on my mind for 3 weeks. And I said to my partner, his name was Jason. I said, I got to call Jason. He keeps popping to my mind for the last 3 weeks. And so I called him, but I had him on speakerphone, and my partner wasn't far away from me. And as soon as Jason answered the phone, I could hear him through the phone, and he says, finally, I've been calling you for 3 weeks. And my partner heard that, and his head just turned around, and he looked at me like, oh my God, you just said he's been on your mind for 3 weeks. Well, what Jason meant was he'd been intuitively trying to tell me to call him, because at the time he had lost his phone and all his contacts and everything were in there. He didn't have any emails or anything for me. He had no other way to get a hold of me, and he lived in a different city. So he was trying to psychically tell me to call him, and it worked. And funny enough, over the years, that's happened to Jason and I a few times. We have kind of a weird little connection. We'll tune into each other and he'll go, oh, it's interesting timing that you're calling me right now. Or I'll say that to him. So yeah, just honor that information. In that case, it was just that he lost his phone and didn't want to lose contact and wanted to touch base. I don't remember that there was really an urgent message, more than, hey, you need to contact me. But that's still urgent, right? So if you're like walking somewhere and you have a feeling, maybe it's dark, maybe there's a street that you don't feel, ooh, I better not walk down there right now. You feel danger. Don't walk down it. Even if the other way's longer, out of your way, walk the other way. Or if you're home and you're getting ready to do something and you don't feel like going, don't go. Okay. And you shouldn't have to explain yourself. Just say, I'm sorry. I don't have to tell you what to say, but just honor yourself and say, listen, I'm not feeling like going tonight. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to honor it. I mean, the more we start telling people that, and the more people see, oh my God, it's a good thing we didn't go, because such and such happened. People start realizing, wow, that instinct was right. They might even open up conversation. How did you know that? Did you feel something? Did you think something? Did you see something? So other people see how this stuff works, right? I also think it's important to approach this topic with balance. Not every fear is intuition. Not every anxiety is a psychic warning. Sometimes fear comes from your past experiences or stress or trauma you've been through or overthinking, how you've learned to process things, right? Your own paranoia. And learning the difference between fear and genuine intuition is part of the journey. But genuine intuition often feels different. It tends to arrive quickly, clearly, quietly, and without mental spiraling. It feels less like panic and more like immediate knowing. Although, in my two examples, it did feel like a bit of panic. So it's kind of a fine line with that one. But anyway, and interestingly, many people report that these instincts become stronger during periods of personal growth, emotional awakening, healing, or major life transformation. Almost like awareness itself becomes heightened. In my book, Soul Signals, I explore intuition, synchronicities, repeating patterns, inner knowing, and the subtle signals many people experience throughout life. At least I share with you the experience, some of the experiences that I've had. I certainly didn't cover all of them, but I put examples of a little bit of everything in there, often long before they fully trust themselves. And if you want to explore these ideas more deeply, I'll put links in the description. But more importantly, I hope this conversation encourages you to pay closer attention to yourself, to your instincts, to your body, to your inner signals, because sometimes the feeling you almost dismiss is the very thing trying to protect you. And now I genuinely love to hear from you. Have you ever had a gut feeling or instinct that later turned out to be right? What happened? Share your experiences in the comments. I read them, and I think hearing each other's stories helps people realize how common these moments truly are. Because sometimes your deepest intelligence speaks before your logical mind understands why.
Ready, set, go. Let the magic begin. We'll ride the waves of joy. Let the fun seep in. It's the Soul Signal Show. Come on and join the flow. Feel the rhythm in your heart. It's time to let it glow. It's time to let it glow. We've been waiting for this moment. It's finally here. The sky is painted gold. Let's toast to the cheer. Grab your friends, don't hold back. Unleash your light in a world of possibilities. We'll shine so bright. The stage is set. Let's break out and fly. With every laugh and cheer, we're reaching for the sky. The music calls, let it echo loud. Tonight we're unstoppable. Let's make our crowd proud. Ready, set, go. Dance to the beat, let it flow. It's the Soul Signal Show. Feel that energy grow. Hands in the air, smiles everywhere, let it shine. In this moment we embrace the magic that's divine. With every step we take, the world's alive tonight. Chasing dreams like fireflies, igniting hearts so bright. Forget about your worries, let's make a